Most people remember the Austin A40 Farina as a quiet little family car, the sort that once disappeared into rows of British traffic. But behind that modest shape was Italian design, an early hatchback idea, and even a secret life in motorsport. Subscribe if forgotten British classics are your thing, because the deeper we look, the stranger this little Austin becomes, with details even devoted enthusiasts may have missed. The hatchback before Britain knew the word. Now, one of the most distinctive features of the 1959 Austin A40 Farina Countryman was hidden at the back. Unlike most small British saloons of its era, it used a two-piece tailgate with the rear glass lifting upwards and the lower panel folding down. Combined with a folding rear seat, this clever design turned a compact family car into a surprisingly practical load carrier. Owners could carry luggage, shopping, or bulky household items without needing a conventional estate. The word hatchback had not yet become part of everyday motoring language, yet the basic idea was already there. That is why the Countryman is often regarded as one of the earliest small production cars to anticipate the modern hatchback formula, giving this modest Austin a legacy far larger than its appearance suggested. The little Austin that brought Turin to Longbridge. The biggest surprise about the Austin A40 Farina was that its clean British shape did not begin in Birmingham at all. BMC turned to Pininfarina of Turin, bringing Italian-styling influence into a market dominated by upright, conservative family cars. When the A40 appeared in 1958, its crisp sides, restrained chrome, and neat two-box proportions made the older Austin A35 suddenly look like a product from another decade. The benefit was not simply beauty, because the cleaner shape also gave the little Austin a brighter, more modern personality, without turning it into an expensive fashion statement. For ordinary British buyers, this was Italian design translated into something they could actually use every day. More importantly, the A40 helped begin a much wider relationship between BMC and Pininfarina, making this humble saloon an early bridge between Longbridge practicality and Turin style. Italian suit, Austin A35 bones, A. Underneath that fashionable Italian bodywork, the A40 Farina was far more traditional than it looked. Much of its basic engineering philosophy came from the Austin A35, including rear-wheel drive, a live rear axle with leaf springs and familiar BMC mechanical components. Early Mark I cars also used an unusual hydro-mechanical braking arrangement, combining hydraulic operation at the front with mechanical elements at the rear. None of this sounded glamorous, but the hidden advantage was simplicity. Owners and garages were dealing with machinery that was already familiar, inexpensive, and relatively easy to maintain. The wider track and revised proportions nevertheless gave the A40 a more planted character than its predecessor. That contrast became part of the car's identity because beneath a body drawn in Turin sat the dependable, uncomplicated engineering of post-war Britain. The clever interior, built on pennies. Inside the Mark I A40, clever packaging often seemed to be fighting directly against BMC's determination to save money. Instead of normal winding windows, the front side glass used a sliding arrangement, an unusual detail intended to reduce intrusion into the narrow cabin. Storage was similarly practical, with useful space beneath the dashboard and a folding rear seat that could extend the luggage area. Yet the original saloon stopped just short of brilliance because its rear window remained fixed, meaning large objects still had to pass through the ordinary boot opening. Period testers also noticed small cost-saving details, including rather modest interior lighting. These compromises could feel almost comically British, but they reveal something important. The A40 was trying to create maximum usefulness from minimum space and expense. The later Countryman effectively completed an idea the saloon had already started. The family saloon that became a touring car champion. Few people seeing an A40 parked outside a British suburban home would have imagined it becoming a serious competition car. Yet Pat Moss and Anne Wisdom drove an A40 Farina to 10th overall in the 1959 Monte Carlo Rally, while also taking the Coupe des Dames. The story became even more remarkable in 1960, when George "Doc" Shepard won the British Saloon Car Championship driving an Austin A40, prepared by Don Moore Racing. Its advantage was not huge horsepower, but a compact body, low weight, familiar A-series mechanicals, and a chassis that could be developed without enormous expense. That made it attractive to racers who understood how much performance could be extracted from simple machinery. The A40 therefore gained a second identity, far removed from shopping trips and school runs. Its racing success proved that an ordinary-looking family saloon could become a genuine giant killer. Italy finished the hatchback. Britain started. The strangest chapter of the A40 story happened not in Britain, but in Italy. Innocenti, which built BMC-derived cars at Longbridge near Milan, developed the A40 S Combinata into something more advanced than British customers could buy. By 1965, the Italian version used a single top-hinged rear door supported by struts replacing the British Countryman's split tailgate with an opening much closer to a modern hatchback. The practical benefit was obvious. One large door provided easier access to the luggage area and made loading awkward objects considerably simpler. Yet Austin never offered this arrangement on the home market A40. There is something wonderfully ironic about that decision. Britain had introduced the basic hatchback idea with the Countryman, but it was an Italian manufacturer that completed the concept on the same family of cars. The pioneer killed by BMC's next revolution, by the early 1960s, the A40 Farina was being improved just as the world around it was changing faster than expected. The Mark II gained a longer wheelbase, improved rear passenger space, revised chassis details, and eventually the larger 1098cc A-series engine, making the car more comfortable and useful than the original. But in 1962, BMC launched the Morris 1100, part of the revolutionary ADO 16 family, using front-wheel drive, a transverse engine, and far more efficient interior packaging. Suddenly, the A40's conventional rear-wheel drive layout looked older than its crisp Pininfarina shape suggested. Buyers were being shown a new definition of what a compact British family car could be. Production of the A40 finally ended in 1967. Its fate was almost poetic. A car that had once pushed British small car design forward was eventually overtaken by the next revolution, created by its own manufacturer. The Austin A40 Farina was far more than a forgotten small saloon. It blended Italian style, British simplicity, clever practicality, and unexpected competition success into one remarkably understated package. Its greatest achievement may be how quietly it helped point towards the cars that followed. Click on another video to discover more forgotten British classics. Like, subscribe, and tell us what surprised you most in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.